Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this last session before lunch. I'm really looking forward to our next presentation. Lionel, will you please introduce yourself, and then you have until 1 o'clock. But I think you will leave us some time for questions, I hope.
Hello, everyone. I'm trying to see if you can see me.
Yes, we can see you.
Oh, great. Yeah, so my name is Lionel, and I'm a tutor, and I also started a tutorial service right here in my community in Nelspruit in Mpumalanga. So, yeah, and I've been using technology to tutor my students for quite a while now, but only recently, because of this ChatGPT thing, did I really up my game, if you could say. Well, because it taught me one thing that I was trying to study all this time, which is programming. And it's funny enough, as I was trying to understand how it works, then it also taught me how to program. And then as a result, I managed to come up or to develop a chatbot, which I believe that we can use it to tutor students, and I've been using it to tutor my students. So this presentation, I'm just going to go show you or go through everything and show you how I did it, and maybe most importantly, we'll be talking about the theory behind it. Yeah. Over to you. Sorry, so I'm trying to share my screen, right?
Okay, so Lionel, if you go to the bottom right-hand corner, you will see a purple little arrow that you can open, and then you will see you will see the first bubble is a chat bubble. Then it has two little persons that shows the people in the room, and then the next one is share content. So if you click on share content, then I would say I would advise you to use the one that says share application or screen. So if you click on that one, then you will see, then it has the three options: Chrome tab, window, or entire screen. Go to entire screen, and then choose the one that you want to share. Click on it, and then you will see that the share button will be at the bottom, then will be activated the moment that you've clicked on the screen that you want to share. The share button will be activated, and then you can just share your screen.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so it's not responding to my share. Why? Come on. Oh.
Okay, so I think, Donald, will you be able to share Lionel's presentation?
That's the thing.
See if I can help him share his screen. Maybe that will take a few seconds. Lionel, at the bottom right of the screen, there is a purple icon there. Please click on that.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
And then the third icon is a box with an arrow. That's share content. You want to click on that?
Yeah. I clicked
then
on
next
that.
you will click on share application or screen.
All right. So yeah, it did.
And then you want to share your entire screen.
Yes, I want to share like the entire screen.
Yeah. Are you working on only one screen or two screens?
Well, I'm actually right now I'm in my browser. This is where I'm doing this, but I wanted to share my presentation, which is on another window.
Okay, right. You want to click on entire screen. That's more to the right-hand side, and then there will be two screens. If you are connected to two screens, just select the screen that has your presentation, and then the share button will have a blue background. Then you click on it.
Come on.
Remember, once you click on share content entire screen, you want to select the screen. So you click on that screen so that it has a blue box as a border. Then you click on share. If not, then we'll fall back to your
Yeah, but the problem is also I need to share the, you know, the chatbot after the PowerPoint. So I do have to share my screen eventually.
Let's see if we can try that one more time.
Okay, let me just try one more time, and then we can just be doing what we can for now.
Okay. And what is your device? Is it a MacBook or are you on a PC, Windows? Okay, I think we lost him. Apologies for that, and we'll try to get it sorted as soon as possible.
Thank you, Donald. For everyone that just joined, we are just struggling to get Lionel's presentation on the screen. But in the meanwhile, maybe I can post the link in the chat that we have a Lego giveaway. And it's actually a very nice prize that you can win if you write a motivation. So I'm just going to put it in the chat, and then in the meanwhile you can maybe access it and just have a look. Maybe you want to write a small little motivation to win this prize from Lego. It is a prize for you as a lecturer together with 50 students. And we are just going to look at the motivation written, see who is the best one that's been written, and then that is only one of the prizes that we have throughout our symposium. There are also other ones like a lucky draw, and then we are also going to have a game tonight or this afternoon late in the Kumo space. So if you can, in the meanwhile, just click on the link that I've posted and write your motivation. I see that Donald is still struggling to help him, but I hope that we will be able to join soon.
Anki, we've lost Lionel to internet challenges, I believe. Let's wait for him to return.
Okay, I hope so. So you also have to enroll for the lucky draw prizes. I'm going to post that link also in the chats. Luckily, we have time now to do this. So you can then register for these prizes. There are very nice things up for grabs. There's another link that you can, in the meanwhile, just explore while we are waiting for Lionel. Okay, I'm going to I see what you said here. The first one on the motivation, I'm going to repost it. There you go. So that is for Lego. It's an online platform.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm
back.
I'm back. I'm sorry. Oh, man, the technology is not good for me today. This is not good at all. Hey, you know what? Let's just start with. I see you've got my slides over there, right? Let's just start with that, and then we can. I don't know. Maybe we can figure out how I can share my screen afterwards. Because I am trying, but I was thinking it's my browser, so I changed it, but still.
Yeah, Lionel, I am sharing your screen at the moment. You can maybe, or rather sharing your presentation, you can work on that in the meantime. But while doing that, can you maybe confirm if you are on a Windows machine or is it a MacBook?
It's a MacBook.
Okay, noted.
Oh, what did I do? I'm sharing something. Am I not?
Okay,
Can you see
there
something?
You are. There you are. That's you now sharing your screen. So it's working.
Okay.
Now you can open your PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, let's see. Oh, that's me. Oh, you see something now?
Yes.
Oh, you can see it?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. But I can't see myself. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see when you are on Blackboard Collaborate, we can only see either the presentation or you, but both of them are visible as options to
Okay.
the attendees. So you can continue.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that mishap. Okay, so let's get started. Time is, because I wanted even 3 hours, now I even have less than an hour. I'm just going to start with the introduction. So the way I want to approach this, or the whole chatbot thing, or AI in education, or I could say this maybe for starters, that the way I approach technology in education is more of a critic, right? I think we can all agree that we haven't been using technology, or it hasn't been delivering according to the promises that have been given. It could be in the media or everywhere. You know, when there's a new tool, there's always like promises. This is going to change education. This is going to do that. This is going to do that. But well, if you're old enough, you would get to understand that some of the things, they never get come to be. Right. So as I was approaching this, I had that in mind. And then as I did that, I ended up digging on the history of, as I was thinking about creating a chatbot, I ended up like going back into the history. What is the history of this? Is this a new idea, or it's something that has been there? And if it has been there, what happened? Why didn't it work? Because obviously right now, we do not have a personal tutor in each student's pocket, but the ideas have been there before. So what happened? Why didn't it work? So that's what I wanted to find out, so that when we have this new thing here, then we can be able to see how it differs from our ideas or our expectations of the technologies that we had before. Right, so I'm just going to go look at the brief history of EdTech. It's not going to be long, and then we'll go into the large language models, just have a brief discussion of how they work and how we can utilize them in this scenario where we are trying to create perhaps a personal tutor, or if you are a teacher, you are perhaps trying to see how you can play around with your curriculum or come up with good ideas for your lessons. And then we'll go on to prompt engineering. So with prompt engineering, this is where we're talking about that LMS, that LLM, and you need to sort of modify its behavior so that it acts like a personal tutor. So to do that, we would use prompt engineering. Then after that, we will then go to the programming, where I'll be showing how the actual programming goes on. Now, it's no code, right? Like I said, I knew about ChatGPT. I think it was later than anyone, but 2 months after that, I was able to then try to program and to understand. So I was not efficient in doing it, but it was good enough for me to start using these tools that are out there for creating applications where you just have to drag and drop. Right, so you don't really need to a whole thing. So I was curious about how I could use the ChatGPT to perhaps to do the task that I'm willing it to do. Right. My initial plan, okay, so we are not about to go to church, right? So I'm just trying to set the scene here by a few quotes, just 2 of them. One of them is from the Bible. It says that here history merely repeats itself. And it has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. Right. I thought that that is important, especially if you are looking at these tools that are coming up. We need to make sure that this whole AI thing, or chat GPT or whatever, is it just not a fad? What is different between this thing that we have and what we had before? And another question we could be asking ourselves is, did we have something similar before? Or did we have these current ideas that we have now? Did we have them before? And if we tried them, what happened? Why did they not work? Right. So that's what we'll be trying to do. Now, code that is just we're trying to set the theme here of where we're coming from. The other one that I find to be inspiring, this book also like it influenced how I went about like trying to develop things. So it says here that if you can peddle the story that everything was stagnant until you came along, your ideas, your inventions might seem that much more innovative and necessary, or so you hope. So this is Audrey Waters in her book, The History of Teaching Machines. Now, in this case, she was actually referring to, well, you could say that she throws a lot of shade in EdTech, right? That's how you could say. She was actually referring to the chatbot that was created by the Khan Academy. It's called Kamigo, right? So she was just trying to talk about like all these things now that we have them, they have new words, right? But the ideas and everything else, it's all the same. It's been there before, and it's so the problem. What we need to do right now is to see that this thing that we have, how can we really put it to use? Not just look at it as a fade, which would lead at the end to just just putting it out there. We might end up just throwing it in the teachers' faces and then say that thing is awesome. You need to use it, right? But well, it's not just about how to you need to have access to it, but we also need to go under and see what capabilities can we bring out of it so that we can really focus those abilities to our customized use case. All right. So to start this history of this whole tutorial or personal tutorial or chatbot, we can start by looking at the teaching machine, right? So the history goes back to the 1960s. So there's a guy, if you are into, obviously, B.F. Skinner. According to my opinion, I think his ideas, they also are responsible for much of how we see EdTech right now, like all these online courses and all that stuff. They do have a bit of influence from his ideas in terms of behaviorism and all that stuff. Right, so here, what we are going to just see here is we're going to go through and see how did this whole personalized learning thing come about, right? So we will see in the video next that it started from what they would call programmed instruction. So the idea was to start, first of all, try to program a textbook itself and trying to make it, be able to teach, sort of. Now, that had its problems. Obviously, if you're going to program it, the textbook, it's a lot of work. So it had problems with scalability. You couldn't do it with a lot of people. So perhaps that's why it didn't work. But then after that, so then you have got B.F. Skinner, who came up with the teaching machines. It was sort of like trying to take the textbook and put it in a mechanical form, right? As we can see here. Oh, sorry. I wanted to see this picture right here of the teaching machine. So this is what it looked like. Like I said, it's actually quite nice to go back into history so that we understand where we are now and what did we have then, right? And then you have this guy, B.F. Skinner, he had these ideas, and then he made this box, right? So now, if we are going to learn from history, we should know that we actually have the more capabilities than that was there. So if we go back and we look at what he wanted to do, we can also sort of deduct from that and say, based on the technology that we have now, we can perhaps do better. But we also need to learn from the lessons as to why did this teaching machine fail, right? So to do that, there's a video that I created in 7 minutes, but I'm thinking right now, I'm not sure if we have got like 7 minutes for the video because we need to get to the chatbot so we can start showing how it works. So I'm just going to give you a glimpse of it and then we get started. What I just want to show you is that even the idea, what you see right now of ChatGPT, talking to it and all that stuff, that idea has been there for a long time. But then again, we want to know how come that idea didn't make any difference up until now, so that we know that with what we have right now, what is it that we need to do? All right, so I'm just going to go to that video a little bit. If it's not playing, please let me know. All right. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1
Should we be able to hear the sound, Lionel?
You don't hear the sound? What should I do now? Okay, perhaps we can say the video is not going to work. Donald, anybody, do you have any suggestions? What should I do?
Lionel, please stop sharing and reshare again. On the last step, when you're selecting the screen where your presentation is, on the bottom right, there is a checkbox where you want to tick for audio.
Oh, okay. So I need to stop. All right, let's go here. Stop sharing. Let's stop. Okay, all right. I have stopped sharing. What do I do now? Come
on. Follow the same steps that you did to share your screen. So you go to share content, share application or screen, and then you want to select entire screen, and then the screen which you want to share, and then there should be a checkbox or a toggle for audio, one of the two, and then just select that, and then your audio will be shared.
Okay, I'm not getting that option, you know. I'm not getting it at all. Let me see if I can find it somewhere.
It should be before you get to the stage.
Before I get to the stage, oh, you can see my screen right now, right?
Yes, I can see your screen. So on stop.
So I should stop here again, right?
Yes.
Stop, and then I go to share again.
Yes.
And then, yeah, I share again. So what I have, the options that I have on my screen right now is allow share window, share screen, and don't allow. So we want to allow.
So you want to allow it, yes.
What am I allowing? The share window or the share screen?
Share screen.
Share screen, there we go.
Okay. So look up just above or to the left of share and cancel button. Do you have anything or text that says also share system audio?
No, I don't have that. I don't have that.
Lionel, is it crucial for your presentation to let us
No, not really.
Look at the video?
Yeah, not really. We can continue.
Okay, because I see that you have less than or about half an hour left.
Okay, let's just go with it. All right, so that video was just simply going to show us how the whole computer instruction came about. And actually what I was hoping to show you is that this whole thing of chatting with your computer, it wasn't new, right? They were doing it then, but at that moment you had to like put what you expect the student to be able to say, right? So you would have to anticipate what the inputs of the students are going to be before you, and then, so it was sort of like mechanical. So it didn't have like, it couldn't branch, or maybe if it is met with a different prompt, it wouldn't be able to handle that. Right. So, okay, so that's where we are right now. So it couldn't be able to handle that. So right now, what we have with this ChatGPT in terms of like creating a personal tutorial assistant or something like that. Now, we can look at how the natural or the ChatGPT works. This is just an overview, and I'm just going to take out the parts that we want to use in this case. So with all the learning language or the large language models that we have, they have what we call the base knowledge capabilities. Now, these are the capabilities that were expected when they were created. They were like, okay, this is what we expect the large language model to do. But then, as a result, you also had now what we call emergent capabilities. These are the things that we didn't expect that these models were going to be able to do. Like, for example, reasoning. So they have reasoning capabilities. So you can be able to make it reason, and you can also be able to actually make it tell you the thoughts or the thought process. How did it go about? I was watching another presentation where they were talking about the chain of thought. Right. So, but you can actually be able to tell it to say, okay, I want you to tell me bit by bit how you're thinking about this problem. and stuff like that. So those are some of the emergent capabilities, and also in-context learning. This is actually very important, and this is applicable to what we're talking about right now. By in-context learning, the best knowledge of these large language models was, you can think of it as all the knowledge in the world. I mean, I'm sure you've heard this before, all the knowledge and stuff up to perhaps 2022. So we are saying that's the best knowledge. So if you ask the ChatGPT about current knowledge, it might not be able to do that. Or something that requires maybe an update that happened yesterday, or your personal data, it might not know a lot of that. So when you do that, that's where it will lead to what we call the hallucinations, right? So to avoid that, in these emergent capabilities, with an application, you can be able to build what we call perhaps eyes and ears of ChatGPT, where it will be able to learn from in context, what we would call in context learning. So what that means, as a simple idea, is that you could take a textbook, right? And then you load that textbook to your ChatGPT through an application. And then when you do that, then the reasoning capabilities of the learning management system will start working on that textbook, and then it will start now giving you answers and questions. You just start. So in other words, you would end up like perhaps talking to your textbook in a certain way, right? So those are the emergent capabilities. But one of the most important things that we have right now, as you can see here, I've indicated that we've got ChatGPT, we all know that, but we have other models that are called the open source models. These, I feel like these are the important ones, especially where we're going, because if you are talking about scaling, like remember we said back in history, those ideas were good, but maybe the problem was they couldn't scale. You couldn't do it on a large scale. Now, we could have the same problem with ChatGPT right now. Why is that? Because when you are going to create this tutorial or this AI tutor, you're going to have to train it. And for you to train it, you're going to have to generate messages, and then, you know, they're not the right one, and then you teach it again and all that stuff. So if you're using ChatGPT 4, I don't know if there are any plans out there that are free, but it's basically going to cost you a lot. Like for you to say now you have a proper product, or you have a proper AI assistant that is able to teach other students. And remember, if you're going to use the chatbot, your students are also going to have to use the ChatGPT 4. So you have a situation, if you're a university, now you want everybody to have access, right? We are not simply saying we want to use it. If everybody is going to have access through a chatbot or a personal assistant, then in terms of cost, ChatGPT 4 is not going to be a very good idea, unless, of course, there will be maybe plans specific for universities or something like that, that will make it a little bit cheaper. But I've seen it myself, even when I'm training them, is that it becomes expensive. This is when the open source models come in. Now, some might think that the open source models, which are free, may be inferior to ChatGPT 4. But we also need to understand that in our education system, we have a problem somewhat with assessment. We can all agree that the way we assess our students might not be what we get, or it might not be the best way, right? Which is why we're even thinking right now about AI. We're saying, you know, we need to change the way we assess our students so that they don't have to cheat with the AI. Now, so the way they are sort of comparing these models is also flawed in to a sense that if you just look at that, you would like let go some other models that are open source that you think are not good enough, but they're actually good enough and they're free. So one of those models that we have is what they call Llama 2. This comes from the guy who started Facebook, Meta, you know, all that stuff. You can look into all that stuff. So in terms of where we're going, if we're talking trajectory, I think this might be, some people might disagree with that. Open source models are the way. Open source models doesn't mean that they are inferior, but they're actually quite good because most of them are actually refined on specific data. So right now you've got open source models that are refined on medical data. You've got open source models that are refined on psychology and, you know, all other domains. So you could also do the same thing. You refine this open source model on your particular documents that you need. so that you now have a model that is trained on your particular documents. So then we won't have problems like hallucinations and all that stuff, because that will enable the models to do what we call in-context learning. Right, so to modify the behavior of all these models that we're going to do, we will have to do what we call prompt engineering. So the prompt engineering, that's the process of you putting in the prompts and all that stuff. So I understand most of you might have an idea of how that works, but it can actually be done. Remember when we were talking about scalability, if you look at how you do your prompt engineering, right, you actually have to, in the ChatGPT, you have to put the prompt there and then you put your message, so they are all there. So what we can do is we can create an application where all the prompt, all the system instruction, where you instruct this ChatGPT or many other models, perhaps your open source model, which will be free. And if you integrate it with that app, that means everybody in the university or whatever it is, a school and all that stuff will be able to access to that without a lot of, without cost at all. Right, so to modify these models, to do our particular task or to actually look at a certain data, we have to use prompt engineering. But this prompt engineering, it has to be done at the back end, since we are talking about where we have to allow our students to interact with these items. Then there's a whole lot of other things. A learning process is complex. So if you're going to do the prompts, it's not just going to be one prompt. So it will be cumbersome if the prompt is seen by the students right there. So what we are saying is you can build an infrastructure where you now have a back end where you send all the instructions, and then at the end of the day, the students, what they're going to see is just, the chatbot tutor, and then it has been trained to do something, but the students won't have to know what the instructions are and how it's trained to do that. Okay, so that's what we are going to do right now. Now comes the second difficult part. I need to share this screen. Please tell me if you can see it. Hello? Anybody?
Yes.
Oh, you can see it. Oh, that's great. Okay, so now we're going to go to the, how many minutes do I have? Oh, okay. We're going to go back here. Now, I took the liberty of putting some data as part of this. So this is the back end I was talking about, the back end of your chatbot, right? So this is where you give it all the instruction. So not only are you going to be able to give it instruction, but you can also load it with the data that you want the model to work on, right? So the thing about ChatGPT or these language models is actually their reasoning abilities are awesome. And I'm also into data analytics, so I've also seen how powerful they are if you give it the right prompts to do even like some data analysis. Now, where we are going, I don't see how we are going to differ or to defect so much from data analysis, because once we start using chatbots now, or using a chatbot, now these chatbots have what we call an API, right? We don't want to go technical. An API, what that is that it's called an application programming interface. It allows your chatbot, in this case, it will allow your chatbot application to interact with other applications. So you might have a learning management system. So you now have a chatbot that is linked to the learning management system. It means that it knows exactly what's going on there. So perhaps in a scenario where you have, in your learning management system, maybe you have a bunch of exercises. The students take the exercises and all that stuff. So the chatbot will be aware of that, what's happening there, so that when the student logs in and they start teaching, the chatbot will then take information from what happened in the learning management system, and then it will then teach the student according to that. So if the student didn't do well in a certain particular topic, according to the learning management system, then the chatbot, you would then have to train it to like focus on those weak areas. So you will have a situation, if we are now combining this artificial intelligence with data analytics, we can then get to points where we can be able to come up with probabilities to say, maybe if a student gets like 40% on this particular topic, there is, like 60% chance that they're going to obtain a certain mark, right? So this is where you are now bringing everything. That's what artificial intelligence is going to do. It's going to bring everything together so that you can now be able to get all the insights and the data. And once you get the data and then you bring machine learning into it, then you can start, coming up with all these probabilities, which will be good, especially when it comes to designing the instruction. So we can then be able to focus, to say, okay, maybe we need to look at how to design things in a certain way, this way. So, okay, back to here, what I did is, I went to the University of Pretoria website, and then I just took that link. So it has that capability. I will just show you how to do that now. So if you can see, I came here. So what we were talking about, giving the learning or the large language model eyes and ears and access to current knowledge, or to your current database. So if you do this, as you can see, there's Dropbox. So we are saying if there is any information that is in your Dropbox, now you're simply able to link your chatbot into that Dropbox, and then it takes all that information there. So you have your own personal. Now, also, before I forget, remember we spoke about open source models. The open source models are great also in terms of privacy. So, because what can happen, I think it also applicable in our situation here, you can actually run the open source model on your computer offline, right? And it doesn't go anywhere. So if you have any sensitive data and all that stuff, once you have downloaded the things, you will be able to just do that thing privately. This will be good, especially I feel like where we're going as we create these artificial intelligence that will be interacting with students, because remember they'll be getting data from these students. We would get to a point maybe that we will, we will have what we would call intellectual knowledge, actually, as a result, because you have all these interactions, and then from these interactions, you're also getting knowledge, and also factoring into account the fact that the first chatbot that you will create is actually the worst, right? The first one will be the worst one you will ever create, because once your students start using it, then you will start feeding it back, that information. This is how I want you to respond to this. And then at the end of the day, it can only become better. Right, so here, as I was taking that data there, I took it from a website, actually. So, web scraping and all that stuff. This is also just to show you the capabilities that are there by taking these large language models that we have, and then we, we built an infrastructure or an app around it where we define how we want the large language model to function. Right, so what we want to do right now is to do program one. So first of all, I want to program this. Let's program a chatbot that would teach us some math, right? So I'll just give you a rundown of what's going on here. So here you see there's data here, but you could also load your textbooks, whatever document you have, PDFs or whatever, you load it here. So what I've done here, as you can see, I've loaded from the University of Pretoria website. I've just loaded, I just took that link and then put it here. So here, it then gets all the information that is on the website. So what's the big idea behind this? If we could create something like this, maybe for enrollment, right? So you have a student talking to a chatbot and it's giving them information. And then we can also tell this chatbot to, sort of assess the student. What qualifications do they have? And then they can be able to, the chatbot can be able to direct them to say, oh, you might think of this course, or you might think of this, and, all the other applications. I hope by time we'll get to use that chatbot. So what I want to do right now is, okay, so I was going to show you a whole lot of features, but because of time, what we want to focus right now is to get it started. So we have got the system instruction right here. And then as you can see, we have got the training message where you will have to add some training examples. So this simply means that whatever you are thinking about, it could be the way you want to write something. As long as you've got an example about it, if you can just put it here, then you'll be able to do that at scale. You won't have to, if you write your emails in a certain way, if you write your essays in a certain way, if you want to analyze documents in a certain way, it simply means that you just have to come up with the example of how it's done, and then you put it there. That's what we call training the chatbot. And then from then on, the chatbot will be able to do everything by itself. Now, so we have in the back end right here. So we've got the back end, and then we've got the front end. This is where we're going to test our thing. Now, all right. So one of the things that we can do here is that we have got what we call AI characters. These are agents. This is where we are going to create an AI character. So think of it this way. We have got this learning large language model. It's capable of doing a lot of things, right? But we want it to focus on one particular task. So what it means then is that we are going to give it a character. That's what we mean by AI character. I'm sure maybe perhaps you've come across this before. So we are going to come here and say, add character. Right, so I'm going to add the character here. So we're going to give it, let's call it a basic math tutor. Okay. All right. So we are giving it a title. We are coming up with the title. What is this chatbot? This is what we are doing right now. We are actually creating a chatbot. So this is a basic math tutor. Now description. The description is option. Because of time, we're going to leave that. All right. But before profile picture, come on. I think it should be nice if it looks it looks a certain way. So I'm just going to give it this picture right here. Okay. Now for the system instruction, let's just call it you a maths teacher, right? So what we are saying here is that we are giving it instruction. What is it going to do? What is the purpose of this thing, right? So as you can see here, it says that the users will not be able to see this instruction. That's great. That is actually great. So that means that our students will be able to have a seamless experience with the chatbot without having to go through, like, how do I prompt it? How do I do this? And how do I do that? And then just to fast forward, you see here where it says prompts library. That means you can also have preset prompts, or it could be a topic on which students can just select, and then they're good to go. And already, of course, you would have trained it to say, once this prompt goes, and then this is what happens. Now, okay, you are a maths teacher. Yeah, let's just stop it there. And then a welcome message. Now, with the welcome message, I like to include something there because once you start running the chat, this can also act as a form of instruction. Now, you are a basic, whoa, come on. You are a basic maths tutor. It's so quiet. Is everybody still there? Basic maths tutor.
Yeah, we're here.
All right, that's great.
We're watching you type.
All right. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm getting nervous because I don't think I'm doing a very good job at that. But anyway, so you're saying what you're a basic maths tutor, right? Now, you can also think of this as a sort of like a chatbot learning management system. Okay, so if you're talking about the future, I think that's where we're going at. A chatbot learning management system where you simply you have got this system right here, and then you're deploying all that stuff. So if you are going to deploy this chatbot to a certain student, maybe it's a lot of students, but you need to make sure that only the right students get that kind of chatbot that you're going to send. This is where the visibility is going to be. So once a student log in, then they will only be able to get into the chatbot that they are supposed to, that you have assigned to them. Now, we're not going to go to the training materials for now, but we want to see, because we want to see the power of prompt engineering. First of all, we just do this and see how it works. So we're going to save right here. So we've got our basic maths tutor ready. Okay, so I'm going to come here and just do this. Oh, so BrainBot is the name that I came up with this thing, okay, for lack of better name. Okay, so here we are. If you come here, you see that we now have our character right here, which is the basic maths tutor. So if we go there, remember our message. Oh, I said you are a basic maths tutor. Oh, come on, I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, this was supposed to be a welcome message. But since we are here already, let's just do this. So we want to try this here and see how it responds, right? So I'm going to look for this prompt. Where is presentation prompt? Yeah, there is. Come on. Am I having problems with this again? All right. Yeah, I'm struggling with my typing. Let's just 1 second. Okay. Plan B. Plan B. What's Plan B? What's Plan B? Plan B would be. Let's do this. Sorry, I'm just gonna open Plan B very quickly. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Copy it there. All right. Let's see if that's going to give me any problems. Oh, it is giving me problems. Wow. I didn't anticipate this. Wait a second. Come on. Don't do it. Oh, wow. Oh. Please forgive me for a second. Why did I put that maximum? Where is it? Come on. All right. I have another Plan B. I've only put this. This is good. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Okay, it's not the math example. This is Plan B, if you can think of it, right? It happens that I did a setting here which is restricting how many things I put there, but I can't get around of it at it right now. But let's just do this. So this is a lesson template, right? Everybody can see this?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what I have here, yes? Okay, so what I have here is that we have a lesson template right here, right? So as you can see, it's saying learning unit for the philosophical context, and then it says after this learning, and these are the learning objectives, right? So what it has done, this is before we prompt it to do anything, right? Like as you can see, it then goes on and then start talking about all this stuff. Okay, this might be good and all that stuff, but remember, we want it to teach. So we need to modify its behavior. So what we can do is we can come back here, and then we come back to the training. Right. So what we are going to tell it is that, first of all, you are a helpful AI tutor. Oh, my typing is terrible. Tutor. All right. Now, what we want to do, the first thing that we really wanted to do is not to give the direct answer. All right. That should be the first one. Because we are saying once the student puts some information there or ask a question, it should instead try to teach the student and not just upload the direct answer. So we are going to remind it not to do that. Okay, so we are going to say here, reminder, right? Do not give direct answers. That's what we have to do. So if you've been hearing about, prompt engineering, I'm sure you will be. If you were not, it's actually becoming very hot and all that stuff. Do not think that maybe you could not do it. This is what we are doing right now. This is prompt engineering. Of course, there is other parts of the prompt engineering where you have to use a little bit of code, but most of the stuff it's simply a matter of just putting the direct thing or finding a way to put a prompt. Now let's save this and see if it will listen to us by not giving direct answers. Now we're going to go back here. Right. So I'm going to look for I'm going to start another chat, right? And then let's give it another question. Oh, I'm going to just go to my prompt library there. I actually have math problems somewhere here. Oh yeah, let's use this one. It's not working, whatever. All right, let's see if it will give us an answer for this one. My presentation could have gone better than this. Come on. Oh, yeah. All right. So that's the frustration, right? It's not. Still telling me this, okay? So that's what happens when you are creating the chatbot. It's a back and forth. So as you can see there, I've already produced all these items, right? So this is actually money that you'll be spending, and you're still training, and then all that stuff, I'm going to throw it away. So perhaps what we can do is to make sure that perhaps we can also come here, right? And then let's tell it something else, right? We give it more instructions because we saw that the first instruction we gave it is not working. Let's give it more instructions. So we are a math teacher, right? Use the Socratic method, right? If any one of you is aware of this, is the Socratic method of teaching, right? Use the Socratic method. So the Socratic method of teaching is where if a student asks a question, you intend trying to direct them to the answer through asking them questions as well, right? So use the Socratic method of teaching, right? Of teaching, right? And also do not give direct answers. Right, so these are the most basic. So let's save the changes right there and see what happens. Oh, so the why it didn't work that time is because I didn't update it. All right, instead of that, let's now just give it a simple math, right? What is 20 multiplied? We just want to see how it responds. Multiplied by 30. What is 20 times 30? All right, let's see what happens now. Okay, come on, robot. Type. Oh, this is why you can never depend on this technology in situations like this. Okay, Donald, are you there? Oh boy. Perhaps you can, say something, help me out. Like I feel like it's quiet and. Oh no! All right, people, hang in there. Please stick with me. This works. I don't know what's happening now. All right. I'm going to go again. Never surrender. Okay, so let's just do this. These are the next step what I wanted to do, and this was supposed to show how it goes. So let's do the explainer. Right. Oh boy.
Lionel, this presentation of yours is really very interesting. You should watch the chats to see what everyone asks and say there. There's one question from Daniel. He wants to know whether this chatbot can be embedded into websites or SCORM packages as a little pop-up icon. And then also, can the software gather intention from a student's question and direct them to different subjects? So that is one of the right. So if you want to elaborate a little bit on that, do you want to tell Daniel a little bit?
Yes, I do. I was actually, if things had gone to according to plan, right? All those things I was going to show you how it works. So the second question, if I'll go with the first question. So the first question was what again? Please remind me of the first question.
It was now for the embedded into websites or SCORM packages.
Yes. So it can be embedded into websites or SCORM packages. So because what I have right here, what you just have to do is, if I can come here, right, you will see that if I come here, there is just take a second. So right here, you see that I am logged in, right? Right, so it means that you can send a link and you can actually embed it on the website. And it simply means that, think of it as a learning management system. I think that's the best way to explain it. Think of it as a learning management system, but you also have the capability of having that little bubble that you're talking about, where it will be hanging maybe on your website, like what we were supposed to do. I don't think we're going to do that because of, I don't know what's going on. That was supposed to be hanging, let's say, on the University of Pretoria website, right? It will be like a little bubble on the right-hand corner right there, where you click and then it pops up. So you can then tell what do you want that bubble to behave in a certain way, right? Do a student have to log in first with credentials, or if it's corporate learning, you have to control the access, or is it does anyone can access to it, right? That's what will be happening. So yes, that can happen. The second question?
The second question was, can the software you use gather intention from a student's question and direct them to different subjects?
Oh, yes, it can do. Okay, it can do. So what I want to show you here is these are some of my tests, test messages that I was doing. Let me just see if I can find one that will show you that. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. So here I was testing out. So you can see this is the first one. Which one is this? Okay, no, not that one. No. Let's go. Let me just find. Oh, yeah. Check this one out. Okay, check this one out. I think this will also give you an idea of the capabilities. This is what I was trying to do right now, okay? Like, in terms of programming the whole thing, this is what I was actually trying to do. So if you can see here, I've got a question, right? Explain how to deal with risk event that may cause reputational damage. This is a topic on postgraduate risk management. Topic, operational risk management, and then it says here, which experts will you bring? So what I've done here is that I came up with a prompt where, let's say a student asks something. Wouldn't it be cool? Let's look at a scenario in a classroom where if you have a question or a certain topic that you're working on, and then you have different experts, because maybe certain experts questions would involve certain experts. Maybe it's a question that a doctor might have something to say about, a mathematician might have something to say about, or a chemist or something like that. And then we want to know what would they say based on this question, or what would they say on this question based on whatever analysis they do. So as you can see what it did here, you've got expert one. So it brought, on this question, it brought the risk management consultant, a public relations specialist, and a business leader to ask this question, right? So after that, so you've got the expert management who also give the idea of or what they're talking about or what they mean, right? And then you have next, I added something here, sort of a commentary, right? And I also try to make it like funny, so that what this is actually doing is that once an expert says something, then you've got BrainBot sort of interpreting that to the, just coming up with an interpretation. And then after that, you've got the public relations speaker. They say what they think about that certain topic. And then you've got BrainBot again interpreting that. Right. So in terms of coming up with cool ways or different ways of you have your material, or you want to find fun ways to teach your students, or sort of, just to engage your students. This is some of the things where in every question, we can say, what would different experts think about? So if the question is right, you have a situation where all these experts are actually arguing, right? So you have an expert where the risk management is arguing with the public relations specialist, and BrainBot right there is also like sort of the intermediary saying, oh, okay, I think what you're saying makes sense, and what you're saying is not making sense. So once you have this as an instructional designer, I mean, I'm sure you are thinking, oh, could be the start of something else. You can then have a video based on this. You can have, a storyline. This is like a storyline. So you can now create a video. If you're into animation, now you are doing that, and you are not now when you're doing the animation, we are now not only focusing on is the animation good and all that stuff, but we are looking at the pedagogical stuff, right? What is this animation trying to teach our students exactly? And then we forget about how it looks nice. And if we want animations or tools that look nice, we can go and watch Pixar or something like that. Yeah, I think we don't have time. Any questions? I'm sorry, guys. This could have been
Thank you
better.
so much. Thank you so much, Lionel. Everybody really enjoyed this. The time is now. Yeah, I think that they did. If I look at the chats, it is true. But in any case, I think maybe they can meet you somewhere and chat a little bit more about this chatbot of yours. Please, ladies and gentlemen, we can meet now in Kumo space. I see that Daniel has posted another thing that says that he has found another powerful chatbot creation tool that offer a lot of hands-on functionality in the creation process. So I think that you can continue with this chat if you want to, but in any case, the session has expired now and we are moving to the Kumo space for a little bit of exercise. Thank you so much, Lionel.
Thank you. Thank you for sticking around.